In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the API Explorer for the EU Life data. So from the competition menu, we're going to go to API Explorer. You've got some various other options here as well. You can watch more videos, developer tutorials, including JavaScript and Python examples. We've also got our blog, which gives you some statistics, and I'll come back to later. And then things like the rules and a direct link to the Open Data API. But let's use the API Explorer. So this is a piece of software written by Philip Rustemeyer, and it allows us to look at the one data set at the moment that's made available by the UK Data Service under an open data license. And if we go down here, it's pulling all of this information straight from the API. So we can see the different topics, the question headings, if you like, or groupings that were asked in the survey. And this survey relates to 2007 and 2011. So it happens every 4 years across the European Union, and it also includes candidate countries as well. So you might be interested to know that there are 28 countries in the EU at the moment, and we also have Turkey and Iceland. We have information on those as well. So I can go down here and I can look at different things: family life and marriage, education. You can see the headings: health, transport even, and information about careers and jobs. Now some of these sections have several questions and some only have one, so you need to just have a little look around and see what areas interest you. But I'm going to go to economics, income, property and investment, and I'm going to scroll down here. So these questions again are being pulled straight from the API, so questions about personal financial situation. And I'm going to look at this area of being able to make ends meet. So basically, can you afford to live? Does your income, or is your income greater than your outgoings every month? And I want to know about people who said they were finding things hard. So that would be the bottom three, because these people are finding it relatively easy. But I'm going to go for these bottom three. So I'm going to add those to the filters. You see me clicking on these, and they're appearing on the right hand side. So I've got the filters here, and this is my query. And then I want to apply it to a specific country. So I've been talking to a friend of mine from Portugal recently, so I'm going to add Portugal. And then I'm going to go and run the query. So I need to click on the to query button, which may not be immediately obvious, but that just helps me run this query. So I've got my filters are Portugal, and then this particular question: is your household able to make ends meet? And I'm interested in people who cannot make ends meet, varying degrees. I'm going to run that query. So basically I can see this is a weighted variable. So it kind of is a number, but they've been modified for statistical reasons. So I can see that 323.7 people, or weighted people, said yes, they were having that problem in 2007, and then it appears to go up in 2011. But what I don't know from this is what the totals were. So I'm going to go back to the question that was being asked. It was the third one down, and I'm going to add in the other filters as well. And that way I can see what the total is, and then I can divide one by the other, and I should be able to turn that into a percentage. So I'm going to run that query again. And these are my totals. So basically, if you made a note before, I can divide one by the other, and I can come up with some sort of percentage that tells you how many people were finding it difficult. Now what's also interesting is you can see the total is not the same for the 2 years. So don't be fooled into thinking that this weighted total is going to be, for example, 1,000 and it's the same in both years. It's not. It's worth checking. So because I've done this before, I actually made a note over on our blog. So if you want to read how I've worked this out, you can find this by going to the help menu and then going to the blog. And I kind of give away the answer here, but I've stepped through what I've been able to do. So I've added up the three distinct areas, and then I've divided those by the total, and down here you can see the results. So what we end up with is that in 2007, 32.6% of people surveyed in Portugal said that they were unable to make ends meet. And by 2011, after the financial crisis, 40.7%. And I've put something quite provocative here because I know there's going to be another survey this year. I wonder what it will be. Have things got better or worse? And this is part of my marketing for the EU Life campaign. So if you'd like to try your own calculations, it's always worth using this API Explorer just to get to know the data. And then when you're writing your code and exploring things further, you can compare it. And of course, don't forget, you can also go to the developer tutorials, which basically have quite a few video tutorials, including JavaScript. There's the first one telling you how to use the API Explorer. We've got how to register with the API, JavaScript tutorial, which I mentioned, and then there's some quite detailed Python examples as well, including how to install Python if you've not used it before. And finally, don't forget that you can tweet us at @appchallenge and ask us questions there, or ask us questions on Facebook. There's @appchallenge. Thank you.